All right, here we go. Game two, G2. That's got to be their specialty. They are up against the ropes. If they lose again, they're going home. They need to win this game. We see Jax hitting the bin. Zaya Alistar as well as Callista, Draven, a nod towards Hansama, and Poppy. We get Nico in blue one, answered by Jace Maokai. So we get this classic pairing. You like to put these two together because of a lot of kill threat when you put the two together, and you have very easy engage and poking. So this core is very, very solid. Nocturne Kaisa is saying, I don't care what you're setting up, I'm going to set up my own backline dive. And the rest of the draft is true to form. They take away disengaged champions, Tristana that can blow people away, Renata that can cast the Berserk to everybody, Nautilus and Rel being taken away as well. And it ends up that Mickey goes for the other champion for the second time. It didn't work so well the first time, but we'll see if we see another Even Shroud. Lissandra trying to play for full engage. The idea is that you're trying to get a reset, use two champions with Duskblade. You pop the kill, you go invulnerable, and then Olaf tries to take down the fight. But this is going to be a super scary game to be an AD carry because you have got 5 people that can all just train on you and go ham. So as Jace or as Zeri, we'll see whether or not BLG gets the answer. Zeri is the paramount champion for playing 1-3-1 split or for playing front-to-back team fights because she's so mobile. She's able to deal so much damage in an AoE. So while you're trying to dive onto her, she will do her best to survive. You'll get peel from Rakan, Renekton, and Maokai. And we'll see whether or not this damage is going to be enough, whether or not Olaf can just zip through the team. And maybe they catch Zeri where she either mispositions herself or maybe she jumps over a wall that she shouldn't. And then you have a 5v4 with the rest of the members. So good luck to G2. Good luck to BLG. We'll see what they get in this game. All right, on to the Rift. We've got a 5-man fan out to start. Everybody's warming up their fingers. They're going back and forth, trying to get their fingers ready. They've got to be feeling some nerves, especially if you're G2. You're thinking you might be going home right now. Although BLG should not be immune to it either. 2 Nocturnes on the map. You pretend to be Nocturne as the real Nocturne goes and invades. You get a little bit of an advantage here. They're going to try to get a ward into this position. They do get one on the red, so they are feeling fairly comfortable that Maokai is going to go for the Raptors. Now, normally what we see when we want to take advantage of Maokai going for this, hold on, they missed it? No, they know it's there. Now, this is important, right? Those solos getting it means that they're going to hit level 2 off of this first wave. So anytime that you think you know that Maokai is starting here, you basically want to path so that you can end up here at the same time. So you might see Nocturne go like this, 6 camps, 7, and then go for 8 with the respawning Raptors. This is a way that you can try to punish a Raptors start. But as you can see from Maokai, they're opting to not go Raptors, so that play will go by the wayside. Instead, they're leashing the red buff to get a fast start here. This means Olaf is going to have a ton of priority in this matchup. He would anyways, and that's why Renekton's going to leash, because he doesn't want to be part of this brawl for level 1 where he might just lose to an Olaf all-in. But now Olaf gets to choose exactly how he wants to play the wave, and probably going to go for a 3-wave crash into a fast buy. Maybe get boots and then try to take over the matchup by running the Renekton down. But we'll see how Broken Blade opts to play it. Mickey, it's like playing a Nautilus or a Rel. You've got similar engage, but you've got much better poke, right? So against this Rakan, you outrange the Rakan as Kaisa and Lissandra. Are you feeling very happy about the range advantage here? See that Nocturne actually goes for a 3-camp clear. Maybe even snuffing out the fact that, hey, you know what? They knew where I was. They put all this effort. They cleared my ward. What if I can go in and actually get a kill on an opposing camp here? Now, he doesn't see this zombie ward. This has got to be a mistake. Your team has to know if a zombie ward's down. I didn't see the first time it went down, but they should have known when it popped. But Yike's saying, no, we can take this because my bot lane has prio. They've pushed you in, so I'm going to be first here. I don't even need to kill this zombie ward. I'm going to take this. I don't even need to use smite. So he keeps his smite available. Now he's going to be able to go back to the other side. Now his path, because he invaded, his path will actually give him time to go take the second spawns of the Krugs and then the Raptors because of this adaptation. So you spend time on this invade. Now you're about 30 seconds behind your normal timer here, but this camp was taken 45 seconds later than normal. So you're actually going to have time to go here, potentially contest for these 2 camps. And especially since it's Olaf versus Renekton, we might actually see that come into effect. Olaf went forward, used his aggression, crashed the waves, and took it to proxy. Used a proxy on the 4th wave to get his recall in. Now he's back in position, having lost nothing, whereas Renekton had to use his teleport to regain the same thing. Now he does have a little bit more prio on the lane. This is going to be one of his more comfortable stages, but you see he's still going to go for that rush-plated steel caps, especially against Nocturne and Olaf. You cannot afford to fall behind in this matchup at all. So making sure that he can get in, get out, farm the maximum that he can, but without ever presenting a target. Now it's up to Olaf to present some threat here. This is going to be one of his stronger spots with Ghost available, especially if he can generate level advantages going for mini pushes. Hold on, we've got an engage from Zun. Goes forward. Did he miss? Did he W onto the minion? Oh no, that feels really bad. That looks like a twisted advance happened onto the minion, so unlucky right there. Now Yike sniffing out. All right, so this is where he realizes. So maybe not. He actually thought that this was a Raptor start. He was still exploiting a Raptor start by going for that East Quadrant invade. But in this case, it clearly thought that he assumed these were respawning. Now he finally gets the timer that it's coming up. So now he can solve the puzzle. He realizes that Maokai started like this, but he'll still get that reward. Hold on, he's actually going for this play. Instead of going for the Raptors, wait, he's turning into the cannon? Are the rumors true? That cannon took way too much. All right, whether or not that's intended or not, they've got to fix that, right? Like, I don't know if that's a bug. If I'm BLG, I'm calling for a pause, and I'm saying, what the fuck is that, guys? That cannon took 4 turret shots, and she didn't even take a third of her health. Now, there are some clips going around about all the different things that Neeko can do, that you can transform mid-combat to try to have frames of invulnerability. Not an intended portion of the passive. There's nothing there that says that, hey, and when you transform, you're invulnerable. That is a bogus interaction right there. I would be pissed if I'm BLG. G2 ends up taking that advantage for themselves. Take a look at it right here. So we come in, we see full combo, QE, or just Q, and then transforms into the cannon while it's mid-air, allowing Nocturne to deal all this damage with lethal tempo. Finally steps out and moves back. That is crazy. Unless that's just an appearance, right? Like, let's go back and take a peek, because we see that purple bar as well. So when you come up to take this, you step up, actual health 70%. Okay. What is this? All right. What is that? She went from 70% to 100% health off of a cannon for nothing. I don't know what would be generating this. Then takes these hits. Now you see the health below, right? This purple bar. That's your actual health, but you see how it's not going down, right? It's going down such a small amount. This cannon is doing way too much. That is BS. I'm just going to call it out. That is BS. Bugger feature. G2 says feature. We're going to abuse it. Feels like an exploit to me. I'm officially rooting for G2 to lose this game. That is not innovation. That is exploiting. There's no way that is intended to be in the game. Anyways, apparently the refs aren't calling for it. They're not giving a pause. They're just saying, nope, working as intended. They're stepping up. Broken Blade actually getting the ult air. Man, if BLG might be so tilted, especially if they're calling for a pause and they're not getting it, right? It would be so easy to be super tilted in this situation. We're like, what do you mean you're not giving us a pause? You're not even going to look at this? Are you kidding me? Anyways, that can set the mental up a little bit crazy. You might expect a couple stumbles right there. That bin ultimate might be one of those cases. Very, very interesting. If I'm BLG, I need to reset my mental. It sucks that happened. You're definitely banning Neeko in game 3, right? So if you're preparing, you know that the only thing that you're preparing for is either Thursday of next week, in which case you don't need to think about it right now, or it's game 3 right now. So you know that this interaction happened. So you're either devising a plan for what you're going to do against it if they try to do it, or much more likely, you're just going to say, that's effed up, I'm just going to ban Neeko, and I'm going to start preparing about what to do. You also need to start preparing your players to get off tilt. Let's say G2 wins this game, and then you realize, yeah, players are pretty tilted. They're like, what the F was that? You need to prepare the discussion that you're going to have with your players about how what's done is done. All we can do is move forward. We're not going to change the score right now. No one's going to change anything about what's happening so far in this game. It's about how you perform in game 3. How are you going to get even? All right, they pulled a cheap shot on you. You should be pissed. use that to heighten your focus and play at 100%. And we'll see if BLG just comes out at a level that we can't even imagine for game 3. This is if G2 wins. But again, if you're a coach, you don't need to care about the presentation of what might happen if G2 loses. That part doesn't matter, right? You just need to go, what if G2 wins? Likewise, if you're a G2 coach, you should start thinking, okay, there's no way they're going to let us have Nico again, like ever, right? So how do we start anticipating our game 3 draft? How do we start preparing? Which elements are they going to take away? And which draft architecture and playbook are we going to go through, right? You need to start preparing for game 3. Both of these coaches, like, it's very exciting to just watch the game and you want to cheer your players on, but that discussion, you've got 6 people in that room, you're allowed to go and start planning ahead. Think about what game 3 might look like, because if you do have to go there, whoever has better preparation will have a huge advantage. And if in the case of BLG, if you don't get your players off tilt, if they got tilted by this play and you don't resolve that stress for them, then what? Right? Are you just going to tilt away game 3 as well? You absolutely need to get that for your team. Need to reset the mental, need to prepare yourself. We may not even get there, right? We may not have a game 3, but that's what you have to be thinking of if you're a coaching staff. It's just like halftime adjustments for any other sport. Yes, you can be watching the game, but you're constantly thinking, okay, what are the adjustments I'm going to make? What are the adjustments? What are we going to do once I get to talk to my team? Anyways, getting back into the game, 500 gold lead in position here. We've got Nocturne, who's got a kill to his name as well. He's going to have the advantage for his first paranoia. Olaf also super threatening to this Renekton. Wait, is he? Is this real? Is he actually down 35 CS? That can't be real, is it? Nocturne ultimate going forward. Nico using the Pop Blossom to pop him off. They get the kill, turn out the lights, and then aggress. Good play. Using the flash to get forward onto him. Flash was available for Yagao, but perhaps just not realizing that we had that window. Hold on, level 9 to level 7. What happened in this top lane? What did we not see here? There's no solo kills. Was this all off the punish of that one proxy? There's no way. I'm super curious what's going on in this game. All right, G2 standing pat right there, uses the shield to block the Maokai, trades his life for the dragon. BLG's going to be happy with that one, though. Nocturne off the map means they're very comfortable. They can go for invades. They might even go for a dive here. We'll see what they end up doing. Maokai and Rakan both moving towards the middle of the map. Renekton also came down for that. Used his teleport, so used a lot of his lead. But that means Olaf gets to get back up in the top lane. Picks up an unharassed wave. I need to know. I have to find out how this lead goes this far. 1729. Okay, they're reasonably close right here. What happened? So we see this play. They're reasonably close. They're 30-31. Olaf is getting chunked and zoned away by full health Renekton. Okay. Still full health. You see Olaf is going for a recall right here. Renekton is freezing it and zoning in his face. Okay. So we see it continue. Haven't gotten a check on what Olaf's stats are once we get the scoreboard up. So 5 versus 6. This is how he got the early 6. He used his ultimate. So it wasn't Olaf like proving anything. It was him trying to fight back for the wave. Renekton says, no, I'm not going to let you fight for the wave. I'm actually going to use my ultimate to keep the wave right here. Continue to fight you. Continue to zone you. Yeah, it's way ahead. So we didn't get any camera time on this. But Renekton is full out zoning this Olaf. And he's going to be more effective in the fights. So this is going to be a huge problem for G2. You see how it just keeps on mounting there. All right. Kaisa 1-0 and Nocturne 2-1. You've got gold in the places that you want to see it. Here's the play that we had before. You turn off the lights. Catches him with the edge of the range. Didn't necessarily need to hit. The flash was available for Yagao, but he doesn't use it there. Then we have the continuation of the fight here. Cap steps to the side. Mickey just going to get out. No, it doesn't even cast his E. No, there it is. You can cast your key while you're rooted. You can't apply it. You can't teleport until after the root resolves, but he's able to get himself out. Bless. Caps Yagao is the feature matchup. 1,000 gold in the pocket right here. Manifesting it's in a full item right here. Rocket Belt already completed because of the 2 plates gone, because of the 2 deaths from Jace. Nico has a very large lead for herself, so they're going to look to try to pivot this as much as possible. Looks like I was wrong about the double Duskblade strat. I'm not unhappy that Kai'Sa's not building Duskblade. In general, I think it's a little bit gimmicky to play for just that first kill for diving in. I'd much rather see the sustained damage of Navori or Rageblade being picked up. Nico ends up getting another plate for herself, so she's got 27 CS that will get traded back a little bit, but has those plates. We also have a plate down in the bot lane, plus a teleport coming in. Jace is trying to flank right here. Nocturne turns out the lights. Mickey flashes right into that, but flashes to get the R off, uses the perfectly timed stopwatch to blow this up. Nocturne gets the beautiful start to the fight. Maokai ultimate is going to peel against multiple of them, but Caps steps back. Ultimate is available, so if they try to flash forward or try to get any kind of crazy engage here, Caps is very happy to pop Blossom on top, which means that Olaf is going to have more time alone, and we're resolving this difference where he was so far behind. This all comes down to whether or not G2 can survive this Renekton dive, because if they dive here, this game is going to get snowballed out of control. I love what he does there. Uses the Q to aggro the Krugs, also to get information. You'll keep on seeing the Jungle Companion fighting against those for 2 more hits. You'll see the Jungle Companion go, and wherever the Jungle Companion goes, even if it's fog, you know that now they're aggressed onto the Renekton, so you can actually keep track of the Renekton using Fog of War, using the Jungle Companion. Very neat trick there from Nocturne. Yagao ends up going to the top lane. Maybe feeling himself a little bit for this fight, only because of the safety of the turret. Olaf would be very happy to take that. These Merc Treads do nothing against him. Perhaps we would have seen a little bit more fight back if he realized how weak Jace was. But really not the position, right? You're under turret, you're looking to shop, you just got all those plates, you've got 102 CS and 4 plates to your name, you're probably looking to back and get that stride breaker. Now Demonic Embrace being picked up, we've got Gore Drinker plus Boots, Jace really far behind, Storm Razor first from Kai'Sa, so we're starting to see some items manifest themselves. Hold on, we actually have a Ravenous Hydra from Olaf. That makes sense. That is a pretty common build to make sure you just have that healing. 1 Q, couple autos, you push the entire wave. Makes you a very high tempo champion. And since you're dealing so much damage when you're at low health, the Ravenous Hydra is in turn healing you so much. Now, these champions tend to go with something like Last Stand and Revitalize, 2 effects that are stronger when you're low health. They use that synergy, making sure that being low health, you're just constantly ticking yourself back up. You're good, you're good, you're good. And Olaf is going to become a problem once again. Thought for a moment that he might have been zoned out of this game completely. Renekton did rotate down. They ended up getting Nocturne, but not the Dragon the first time, but they got nothing the second time. Renekton saying, I've got plated steel caps. I am not geared up to fight against a chameleon. All right, self-ult right here, a little bit of healing. They're peeling forward. They're going to get the continuation on here. Is Olaf going to try to aggress? They actually might have been able to go for that. Nico does not have teleport, but Paranoia was getting close to in range. Nocturne could have pathed over here. Kai'Sa could have jumped on top of them, and Olaf could have dove. So a little bit of a missed window there by G2. Perhaps not wanting to deal with Jace coming into the side of the fight. This is the matchup that you want. If you're G2, this is perfect, right? That's right what you want. You want your mage into the guy that built Gore Drinker and Steel Caps that has no ability to really get onto you in the fight. Zeri actually blocking that plasma from Kai'Sa in the last frame. If you hit anyone in that final frame of the recall, 7.75 seconds on, it will connect, but they still make it back to base. It won't stop the recall. Olaf's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable here, right? This Jace is only on Serrated Dirk and Merc Treads. And like we said, the Merc Treads are doing nothing. They're stopping a little bit of the slow damage from Olaf. But if he's connecting with a Q and he's got a long lane, he will run you down. And he's very happy to be in that situation. So Jace needs to get himself out. They need to fix these lanes. Try to get Jace into Nico and put Renekton back into the Olaf. Unless they're thinking that at this point, Olaf is just going to beat Renekton anyways. He can immune the stun. But Renekton should be feeling fairly strong with the plated steel caps and the Gore Drinker. These items really do nothing into the Nico. So G2 is going to keep the pressure on. They're going to try to press on. This is sort of like in a football game where you go hurry up offense in response to a poor substitution. If enemy team gives you the look that you want, and you have the personnel to dominate them in a certain way, you punish the substitution by moving quickly. You keep the tempo up. You say, all right, we've got the lanes that we want. We'll continue staying out here. We're not going to take our recalls. We're going to press it as much as we can and lean on you in this situation to try to get as much of an advantage in that little microcosm. And we see it turning into the form of CS leads, right? We've got 30 CS lead grown here. Now it's only down to 24 in the top lane, and Nocturne has a little bit of a tempo lead for himself as well, or resource lead, I should say. Now, 2.5k gold lead in favor of G2. Haven't seen any visible tells from BLG that they're still tilted, so hopefully they have regained their composure. It's still something that the coaching staff should absolutely go over, and you're definitely banning Nico in the next game. It'll be interesting to see if that shows up at all. If anyone, it's going to be Yagao, who's still super tilted, right? Super late onto your item. You've been set so far behind in this game, and you're actually going to feel kind of useless. And that's the thing. You just have to kind of embrace that you're a little bit useless this game, right? Don't try to do something you're not. You're not at your normal spike here. You're so far away from mirror mana, you're not even close, right? So don't play like you have mirror mana. Play like you're far away from mirror mana. Step back, pick up more waves. Look to pick up resources whenever possible. Nico tries to send the clone camouflage forward to get a little bit of extra action. Mickey is tanking under the turret, but this is not going to survive. You're still going to bite it. Free kill in the 4v5. BLG looking solid. They're looking very composed. This is kind of what happened the first time we saw Mickey pick up Lissandra, just taking really aggressive positions, which you can do as long as you're getting a good initiation of big AoE root, followed by a big AoE slow and self-peel, and then Zhonya's, right? So we tend to see Radiant Virtue picked up. Sometimes it's Even Shroud. You can go with either build. Even Shroud being much more about proactive damage, but they don't have that much CC on their team, hard CC. You're talking about 1 and 2 realistically. But you being immobilized is something as well. Even Shroud does affect. If you're a tanky boy and you've got Even Shroud, when they jump onto you, if you're a disengaged champion, right, if these guys are diving onto your team, having Even Shroud means that all those people around you will take extra damage. So it can be a neat... Hold on, Lissandra's going really deep. Is it because they found Yagao? All right, Yagao trying to step himself up into a good spot. Nocturne diving up, but he's going to cost his own life here. And they don't even get Yagao. That is a huge, huge misplay. Going for the kill, Mickey thinking that they found the angle, jumping over here, realizing that this is a true corridor of doom. All these wards, you are never going to gain control of this if BLG doesn't let you, right? You step up, Mickey jumps back over the wall. They think they've got the engage. Yagao flashes over the side, and Nocturne follows. Really just should have allowed it. That is the least valuable person on their team. Not something that you had to go off. Caps showing off another Nico trick. The recall animation will lock your camouflage in place for the full duration, so you can actually throw it into a bush, recall from the bush. We also see another one right here, using the clone to try to block the tendrils of corruption, but it's a little bit too late. Here's the beginning to that. That's real deep. That is not what you want. You could have just survived with that chunk. Said, okay, we've got a 70% HP lead on one of your carries. That's great. Take it, walk it in, turn it into meandering advantage. You know, take it slow. A little sidestep by Broken Blade. Is he going to feel this fight? Oh, Rakan's feeling it. Olaf can be strong enough to 2v1 in some of these situations. So it looks like we're going to get Joxer the Protean. So he's looking to get these sustained dives, not trying to limit test anything right now. Going to save it for later, going to jump into the middle of his team and just completely shred through, you know, the swiftness, the tendrils of corruption, Renekton, not caring about any of them. He's just going to beeline straight for Jace or for Zeri, most likely just to go for this target. Get this guy dead, make Zeri run away from you, and then have the rest of the fight go in your favor. And especially being Zeri, once you fly over a wall, this becomes a huge problem. Not only can it follow you, but it also turns out the lights, and your teammates might not be able to see what goes on. Now, Medios has said in the past that when you're here and you lose sight on your screen, he'll just look over at his teammate's screen. Your top laner and your mid laner are sitting next to you in the on stage, and you might take that advantage for yourself. You say, all right, let me see what they see and go for it. All right, lights are being turned off as they approach the dragon. It looks like they're willing to trade for something. Swiftness goes up forward in the fight. Mickey bites it early, but look at the 4-man Pop Blossom. They dive into the fight. Olaf rampaging through. This is exactly what you want. Hansama tries to get away from the crocodile, but it's not enough. Yike does not have, or no, he does have his smite. They combine it with the E from Olaf to get that execute. Caps has been repositioned, trying to get in. It looks like Steric's Gauge is popped here, but Zeri is going to outcarry this. My name is Zeri, I always carry. Explosive fight. Can't wait to see the slow-mo. But again, out-smiting. Combined effects. You get the Olaf E and the smite going. When you're making that call, you're doing a little 3-2-1, right? Or sometimes it's just and one, right? Something where you have a little cadence. You say, we're going to do it right now. And you do that right so that your team has an idea of what that concept's going to be. We see the flash in with the W, multiple person knock up. Kaisa flying to the backside, actually couldn't quite get to this other side, would have preferred to be on the other side of the wall potentially to start that, or to get into the fog, something that really obfuscates where your position is. But big upfront damage. And you see, like, Kaisa in that situation would absolutely love to have Duskblade. And if this is what this team comp is trying to do, then perhaps you still want Duskblade, right? Because if it's all about blowing people up, Nocturne dive, Olaf dive, Nico dive, Lissandra, like everyone's diving, then yeah, you need to be part of the dive too, and you need to make sure that you're surviving, which means that the Duskblade build might have been the better approach for this game. And especially Umbroglaive too. Umbroglaive can help turn out the lights, make sure that your team has better approaches to the fight. So maybe would have preferred to see it this game. I'm not a big fan of the build in general, but this is definitely the sort of lineup where you want it. All right, resetting 1.5k gold lead, 3 dragons. It is a mountain rift, so we're going to have those extra resistances that will actually benefit the diving team, keep them alive a little bit longer, make the retaliation damage much harder to get off. We actually have a really good set of runes of dragons for them, right? The cooldowns, the ult cooldowns, making sure that you're tankier when you go in. This means that you're pressing your buttons more often and more effectively in these fights. Mickey stepping up, you see these wards that you drop in the lane, right? You want to get them in their face. Sometimes you put a redundant one behind them as well. The idea that you want to see their rotations as they happen. Pop Blossom in response to the skies, perfectly played. That is something you're absolutely looking to do as Nico versus Jace. He presses Q, you respond with R. You are always going to get that effect. The E is not far enough. He can't knock you out of range. So even though he tried, it's not enough. You always get that knock up, which means Kaisa joins the fight. They're good. So now champion down. Nico is pushing in the side lane, has teleport available. We'll see whether or not we get one of these other tricks. Again, here's another instance. So Caps clearly very well rehearsed on all of the things that Nico's looking to do in this game. Has shown 4 or 5, actually 5 different unique tricks that you can do with this champion. Basically, we'll have to do a whole video on just the neat things you can do with Nico. But frankly, some of the, like that cannon thing that happened early in the game, that does not belong. You can let me know what you think about it. Do timestamp 2510 in the comments. Do you think that play is neat and we should continue to have things like it? Or do you think it's BS and they should remove it from the game? All right, inner turret was worked on all the way down. Nico was able to get that, which means that second full item plus Blightning Jewel plus Stopwatch. So we're talking about an absolutely massive Nico for this next fight. We also have Black Cleaver, Stridebreaker, and Stopwatch. 4 stopwatches picked up for G2. With a lead, this tends to be enough to checkmate your opponent or go for this all in because no one's going to die, right? Everyone's threatening the dive. Lissandra's not going to die. She's got Radiant Virtue plus a self-peeling ult, right? She's going to go in and find the right engage. Olaf's not going to die. He's got the stopwatch on top of... He actually went Radiant Virtue, by the way, not Protean. He's saying the healing over time is more valuable. That's interesting because it actually goes against his kit a little bit, especially if you went for last stand. Hold on, they go for an engage here. Kaisa joins in on the fun, jumps to the back line. And they rip apart Maokai. That's a big deal. That's their biggest source of engage from long distance. if we do get into a protracted Baron siege. It seems that they're not going to coin flip over Baron. They're going to take the pressure, go over to the dragon instead. Now, best answer for BLG would be to push mid and go over. That Nico pretending, yeah, that was Nico pretending to be a cannon, putting out another fake cannon. You saw how tanky it was. That is abnormal. And look how fast, right? Like, moving quickly too. That thing is not, you know, some of these other things you can get gated by the other mechanics. Cap's using the, gosh, he's using everything in the kit here. This is so cool to watch. Absolutely going to give him a thumbnail. Tending to be Olaf, everyone splits apart, throwing the E's, trying to get through multiple different people. Broken Blade has the ultimate going, so he's healing up constantly. Paranoid going off. They go after the Jace. He tries to go to the skies. He says, all right, I'm dead. I'm doomed. I might as well go forward, trying to get onto everyone else. We'll put all of our effort onto Hansama. Uses the stopwatch. We tried to get Caps peeling. Unfortunately, a little bit of disjointing right there. One person's trying to peel by flashing forward. The other person's using stopwatch. You do not want to have those abilities going off at the same time. So BLG actually gets a colossal victory on the back end of that fight. Now Baron is theirs for the taking, right? Who's going to threaten this? Olaf is not healthy enough. Lissandra can't do it. She does have her ultimate, and she's one of the best champions in the game around the pit, but there's no one here to support her for this play. No teleport from Olaf. So there's really going to be no counterplay. Here we go. Olaf rampaging into the fight. He's going CC immune the whole time he's healing up with Radiant Virtue. Front to back, we're still feeling good. Renekton is self-peeling for himself. Broken Blade is flashed forward. Here we have this, but look at this. See how they bunched up? Boom, everybody getting hit by that massive damage. Zeri popping damage into everyone as well. They rip the damage into Hansama, and you see this. Caps is trying to peel. Elk flashes out to the side. As soon as able to get back on top of them, they're able to continue chasing down. On doesn't even die. Very nicely done by BLG. But that is a soul in hand. This is one of the better ones, if not the best, Dragon Soul to have for these combat, especially for a composition like this, where you're trying to dive on top of them. The fact that you just have an extra huge shield to start every single fight means that it's going to be very solid. Also, the fact that we have these Radiant Virtues, you know, actually taking note, 2 of the stopwatches were popped, 3 were not, right? Like those 3 are still available. They're still in inventory. So maybe could have gotten a little bit better with using them, but no, they're certainly going to be happy that they still have this. This, however, is going to be taking up some space in the inventory. Nashor's Tooth looks like it's coming out, so we get the triple evolve from Kai'Sa. A very important mid-game or end-game stage for Kai'Sa, since most of your damage actually ends up coming from your W. Later in the game, yes, if you have time alone with someone and you can auto get the proc of your 5th hit auto attack with Rage Blade, yes, you're feeling super good in that situation. But the truth is that most of the fight leading up to that, it's your W. You're just casting W, you're casting W. Every 4 seconds, you're trying to get significant chunk onto them, especially this team that's not going to have that much resistances built up. Now, I say that, but Renekton went Spirit Visage. What is this? This doesn't make any sense to me. Abyssal Mask is so good on Renekton because you are shredding away their magic resist, and your ultimate deals a significant amount of damage now. So if you're saying, I want to survive against this extra damage from them, Spirit Visage is not the way. It does give you a little bit of synergy. Gore Drinker plus your Empowered Q, you're going to get those big heals off. So it's not a dead item, all right? But it's not like it's amplifying significant sources of healing from everybody else. It's not like you have a Soraka on your team that can make that difference. And even then, you'd still want the extra resistances so that the heal had more value, even though it was a smaller raw amount. You'd be able to get more from it. So we'll see whether or not that comes back. You know, Zeri, even with this full AD build, is still going to deal a significant chunk of magic damage because of that passive stacking on the auto attack once you build it up, plus the W, plus the R, plus all of the pass-through damage, plus all of the lightning zaps that are happening while you're going all out. Look at Caps using the minion. Makes it look like a bug. Are you serious? This would be a hell of a trap. He just holds it there. Doesn't show up on the mini-map, by the way. Oh, that was the fake one. I'm crazy. My goodness. This guy is throwing, is putting me through the ringer. All right. I'm jumping through hoops, trying to keep track of what Nico's doing, and I'm watching the game. Most of the tricks up Nico's sleeve, they're considered gimmicks. They're not considered that strong. But again, we say it all the time. Every time that you can force your opponents to answer questions, you just have more advantage. The more questions you throw out, the more likely that they come back with bad answers. And these tricks with Nico, if you are just flooding the game with all of them, then it becomes exhausting to keep track of. Right? Well, what's the Nico? Is he doing the cannon thing? Where is he? All right, he's moving faster. What's going on here? This one's recalling. Is it the real one? It just opens up more plays too when you show that you're that capable of doing whatever is in the playbook. All right, we set up for Elder, 45 seconds. We have a minute 40 to Baron, so that's not going to be a consequence right here. Everything's going to be pressed up. You see this big line of vision. We're talking about 7-8 wards already in position for BLG. They're down first. G2 is going to play for mid lane Prio. They don't need to get as many deep wards. They just need to have the one that makes sure to see them. They also need to make sure that they have a far side alteration, which they have from Olaf and Kai'Sa. That'll help the Nocturne find the line once he does turn out the lights. Now let's check out. Rakan is actually looking for a potential for an engage. This could favor Lissandra, though. Lissandra is very strong in the... All right, is that an ultimate from Rakan? Oh, okay. It looked like he was moving quick for a second. Battle lines being drawn. Nico still on the side lane. Has the teleport available. We'll see whether or not they try to go after her. Perhaps. And like I said, you said that, you've asked a lot of questions. You've constantly made them doubt everything about your Nico all game. So now when the moment comes where the right play might be to go after Nico in the bot lane, they have absolutely no confidence in that decision because they've been doubting everything about Nico all game, right? So that you see how those kind of play hand in hand. Bin survives here by this hair on his chinny chin. He gets out there. Olaf is trying to rip through him, flashing forward. He's dealing AoE damage. Ouch. GA being popped just by accident, being caught on the edge of that Zeri ultimate. Broken Blade trying to buy time, but he's got nothing left. Wait, Elk jumped over that wall. This might be a little bit too much. No, they're going for it. Bin stepping forward, ends up biting the dust. Nico rips him apart. Elk has no resources left. We'll see if he has anything left. Caps. Beautiful. Even using the thing right there, it's like, hey, maybe you hit my guy. Maybe you hit my clone. If you hit my clone, was it me? Or are you going to jump on me? Anyways, we see how little Soul... I mean, Soul does matter. It certainly has an effect, but compared to the strength in the lines of fight and who's dealing damage over time, doesn't have nearly enough to do with who's going to win. It's not a predictor. Nocturne jumps over here. I like that they take the play this way. Mickey says, I'm going to peel for 3. I'm going to self-ult. I even draw the Maokai ultimate, which is fairly random. The fact that he cast it this way is pretty bizarre in general. Been doing a good job to get himself out, double dashing, flashing. Olaf trying to reach onto him, can't quite do it. Team is consolidating. Now G2 goes straight back over to the Elder, says we can take a good position here. Now this is versus Maokai. Let's see how they group up. They end up turning out the lights. They make the fight as complicated as possible. They're stepping up 2400. This thing's going to die. The Kai'Sa gets the 5th auto attack proc. Caps goes forward, but does not actually get the Pop Blossom off. They get the Elder, but are they getting aced? Oh my goodness. You get the Mountain Soul. You have the Elder Dragon. You still lose the fights. That has to feel bad. Kind of comes down to how squishy this team comp is in general. The fact that Olaf has not been contributing enough in these fights. This Radiant Virtue kind of showing what the weakness is. Doesn't do enough, right? Jaxar the Protean would create way more net health for you. I don't know why he decided to go for Radiant Virtue. The option, I suppose, is, hey, I'm diving forward with these champions, and I want to create this ring where all of us are going forward. We're all getting healed. But Lissandra has that as well, right? And if she's going in and diving, maybe they're saying, hey, she's just going to peel, and Olaf is going to dive. Therefore, we want the Radiant Virtue up there. But Jaxar the Protean would make him that much more of a menace. See the teleport coming in. Is that through Paranoia? Or so this isn't just the Elder. I mean, Elder goes to your team. You're able to survive. You've got 2 people still with the buff, but they have Baron now. And they've got the gold lead, 4K to their advantage. Elk is going to be enormous. Hansama is that big, though. We do have plenty of carrying potential with this build. A little bit lower on the total maximum damage that you can do, but when you get the procs off, especially the execute on the 5th hit of the passive, the plasma stacks can be a tremendous stack of damage. Is going for Zhonya's, so you see all these guys trying to keep themselves alive in these fights. Nico right here opting to not go for the Zhonya's has lost her life twice because of that decision. Try to go for more damage up front. Almost always the utility option is going to be better. I know that she's playing for carrying and she's trying to snowball her lead, but having the Zhonya's, especially with the way that these fights shape out, where they're all diving in, someone's going to be vulnerable at every point. So each one of these people needs to have a tool that keeps them alive. Anyway, Zhonya's is picked up by the Lissandra. Zhonya's picked up by 3 different champions, in fact. Guardian Angel is a minute away from coming up for Nocturne. We'll see whether or not they decide to just stall for that minute. Is that really Caps? No, again, using the fake one. Hey, can you count minions? Wait, there's 4 minions in here. Holy shit, what are we going to do? Turns out it's just the clone, right? Rinse, repeat, using as many iterations. You do this over and over and over again. Eventually they say, all right, guys, it's not. You don't need to count the minions anymore. It's always fake. And that's the time that you bite. If there's anyone that should dance like a butterfly and sting like a bee in this game, it's Nico. Here we go. We flash forward. We turn out the lights. We get engaged. They're going to one-shot Zeri. The Guardian Angel goes off, so she's going to be able to survive in this. But coming out of this, Olaf is trying to rip her apart. She gets through to the other side of the fight. Holy crap. The fact that she survives means the rest of the team is going to get chewed up. Olaf trying to trade. He does get 1 kill back for himself. He's actually heal tanking the Renekton. Renekton does end up getting the rest of the kill. It's just Caps that's left. Wait, he lands the EQ to kill Zeri of all people. It's the Zeri that dies. That is going to be the EQ combo from Caps that is going to save this game for them, potentially, if they don't immediately die right here. What are the respawn timers? We're talking about 20, 24, 30 seconds right here. They may look for an end. It's 3 versus 1. Caps is going to have to come up with some claps speciality right here. Team is calling back. They are afraid of his Nico. What a hero. My goodness, Caps is just putting this team on his back. We'll see if it's enough. Elk, you see the power of Zeri, even versus dive, right? 2 ultimates, plus Hansama, 3 ultimates being used on you. Guardian Angel, you're next to a wall. You immediately pop over to get to the far side. Yike can't continue to chase you. Actually goes for a flash, tries to engage on you, but it's still not enough. Rest of the team can't do anything. You see Nico's actually ripping through them right here. There's a case where we would have seen much better effect from Abyssal Mask there on Renekton, right? You would have been tanky AF, not worried about the extra healing. You're worried about making sure that you're stealing the stats. Make it so that it's easier for your team to kill that guy and that you are tankier on the back end. Guardian Angel picked up on the top over there. Guardian Angel is online for Olaf and for Nocturne. We have a full late game, or we can have probably second Elder going to be most likely the decider right here. We'll see how they draw the lines of scrimmage. Top waves being ignored right here. Nico again feeling comfortable to go push, even though all these champions potentially had lines of attack that they could have gone after. But again, like we said, Caps is just throwing these guys for fits. They're either still tilted about what happened with the play at the beginning, or they're just annoyed by the sheer number of questions that Nico has asked them, that they're not confident about any of the play. Either way, this is a singular carry performance here by Caps. Even if they lose this game, I'm going to give him the thumbnail. All right, they take advantage of this area. They're finally going for this play. They think, all right, I finally get to go after this. I use my R in response. Yagao answers with a stopwatch of his own. They peel this for the maximum amount of time. They've turned out the lights. They have a one-shot on the Zeri. They kill the Zeri. The Caps has been a bait. Does bite the dust, but the rest of the team is going to die. Bin is not going to be strong enough to survive this. Guardian Angel is down. Let's see if they stick around and just consolidate on this kill. Killing him means they're 4v2 for the dragon. Bin tries to flash out. Is it going to be enough? Kaisa W finishes him off. Now they're going to go after this. Now it's 4v2. Olaf is actually stopping Rakan as well. So they have the inside track for this dragon. Jace has no business trying to go for this. Might try for a QE, but most likely they're just going to go. They're going to take camps out of the eastern quadrant. Probably not go after Grump because Grump is a little bit too close to the threat. But you can take the Wolves side over and start getting some amount of momentum on that side. So we see it again. This long-range Maokai ultimate, it's actually not able to connect. Rakan ultimate also being used. Zonya's popping in response. So you see all of those resources. Jace stopwatch, Maokai ultimate, Rakan ultimate, all being used trying to catch Caps. He survives for long enough. And now those are resources that are still going to be gone, right, for this next fight for the Baron. So we're talking about Elder plus Baron right now. We're watching this replay, but I bet G2 is already on this Baron. All right, here they go. They're setting up. They've got the respawns. Zeri is back in play, but Renekton is not. Zeri's Guardian Angel is also still down, so they're going to feel very good about taking this. I expect it to be no contest since there are a lot of surviving Elder buffs here. So they get the Baron. Now they fix the waves. Nico has teleport. Olaf does not. So we're going to go adjacent lane pushes. Olaf, you tend to have Olaf in the middle, 3 on the top, for example. Or you put Olaf by himself and you go into 1-3-1. They may opt to just put more strength into one lane because there's so much about the gotcha. You know, they have to play for that dive. They have to stay strong together. Nico's actually taking a moment, clearing out vision, has taken red for herself and is taking this mid wave. So they're putting the teleporter in charge of the waves. They're fixing this. You want to clear this wave and you want to slow push, which means only kill the casters. Kill the casters and then rejoin your team for the fight. That slow push will join up. Now we see an answer. Nico's actually going right in the middle of this. You're going to see an immediate pop blossom. They actually get the kill on Rakan. We've got the Elder. Beautiful engage there. They get 3-man knock up. You see the Elder just popping through everybody. Kai'Sa's ripping people apart. Zeri can't even survive. Nico touching the end of that means Yagao's going to burn out as well. That minion's going to do enough? No. It happened right after the Elder debuff wore off. But either way, Caps is just going to mark him here. The fact that he has GA means that you'll get 2 buffs to answer. Does survive that. Kai'Sa is actually spending some time, but it doesn't matter, right? 27 seconds till anyone else respawns means that you just harass this guy, you stop him from being able to go, and he's putting out the team out response. Hey, he actually might even get away. It's not going to be too little too late, though. G2 finds it. My goodness, what a singular performance by Caps on Nico.